everyone. It's 2 o'clock and time for another episode 94 of What Does This Button Do? It's an educational show about smartphones and tablets with us, Geeks on Tour. Hey, everyone.
Hi.
I'm Jim, and here together with my wife, Chris, we're Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your Android phone or your iPad tablet? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
We are geeks who teach, and we think that the best way to learn is on a regular basis in bite-sized pieces. So we came up with this show. We like to learn something all the time. So we come up with the topics and we teach. Then we learn. All of our content is collected on our website at geeksontour.com.
Okay, Chris, where are we now?
We're back home. After a 4,000-mile and nearly 3-month tour where we did a lot of RV rallies and some computer clubs and a senior center in New York City. That was fun.
That was fun.
So that picture there, I love that dolphin in the Florida Welcome Center. That was our last night on the road. We just slept in our RV at the Florida Welcome Center. And then
that way we could get up early and get on the road.
And get on home. So we are with a good internet connection in our stick and brick house studio in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Okay, on today's show, we're going to have a tip of the day. We're talking about the camera roll game. That's a game that we found on the road at a camping world, I guess. Our app of the day is Gas Buddies Updates and some changes. We'll talk about that. Our beginner's lesson today is Antivirus for phones. That's something we get a lot of questions about, and we want to try and answer some of them.
Not a fun topic.
If you have
I don't
questions,
like that.
All right, well, we have to do some important stuff too every now and again. And if you have questions, ask them in the comments, and if we can find them, we'll answer them here live on the show. The show is recorded on YouTube and on our Geeks on Tour channel. You can always find those links, geeksontour.com/weekly show. And
now we're embedding them into a blog. All you have to type in your address bar is thebuttonshow.com, and you'll see all our most recent ones there, and that's where we're looking for comments on.
Right. And we do invite you to become a member because you get a lot of benefits if you are a member at Geeks on Tour. All right, Chris, show notes. What are you going to do there?
Well, I just want to say, if you've been looking for the show notes for our last show, they haven't been there. But I did them this morning. So if you're looking for the show notes for episode 93, which was on voice dictation, they are ready now. Just go to geeksontour.com, click on weekly show, and scroll down until you see number 93.
Okay. I like that. How about a quick tip? Your
camera roll game. Well, we actually stopped at a camping world somewhere in...
Well, he needed some gas for the
propane,
right.
And while he was filling the RV with propane, I was wandering around the store and I saw this on the shelf. A game called Camera Roll, which makes you use your phone and challenge each other to come up with pictures on certain topics. And I just had to have it. I thought that would be so much fun. So I want to show it to you. First, it comes with a timer. And this is actually the most...
It's annoying.
It's kind of annoying. Yeah, it goes...
Yeah.
And I'll just turn that off because...
It's annoying.
It's annoying. So and then it comes with a deck of cards that has things you're supposed to look for in your pictures. And why did I think this would be so fun? Because I use Google Photos and I can just search. So meaning I would win this game
every time
if the other people didn't have Google Photos. So I just want to show you what I mean. So here is a card and it says butterfly. And even if you don't play the game, it's a fun, Jim and I just got out our phones the other day and just opened a few cards just to explore our Google Photos and see what we come up with. So this card says butterfly. And I go to Google Photos, type butterfly in the search, and let's see what we come up with. Oh, this one was actually
Butterfly World.
but this was a pupa. I wonder if we had a video on that. Oh, look at that. We type in butterfly and it comes up with a caterpillar.
It's a baby butterfly.
A baby butterfly, yeah. So just what a fun way to explore your pictures. And now you play this with a group of people and you get a point for finding your picture first. You also get a point for having the best response. And that is determined by the judge, and you take turns being judges. So you do gather points and it's timed, and I think it would be fun, but I just like to search. The next card I have in my hand is coffee. Let's see what we come up with.
All right.
Well, that's interesting. Belgian Beer Cafe.
All right.
Huh.
That was a great place. That was up in New York City. And we had just finished a seminar at the Senior Planet, and we were looking for a place to eat.
That was good. Oh, but this is a cool one. So this is Jim holding a coffee cup and serving someone on the upper deck, and he is inside the houseboat when we were in England.
That's right.
That was so cool. All right. Now, they're not all that easy. So the next one, the next card that I've drawn says co-worker. And I would be surprised if it came up with something for that. So you still have to, oh, it came up with something.
Let's see why.
Well, I guess those are people that look like they're working together. All right. Well, you get the idea. You pull cards. Everybody looks on their phone for pictures. And if you don't have Google Photos, it'll be a manual searching. With Google Photos, you get to just search. Now, let's say that you are interested in this game, and how do you get it? Well, you might be able to find a Camping World near you, but if not, we have put a link to it on our Button Show page. So if you just go to the web, type The Button Show, and we have set up an Amazon store for sometimes we mention other products. We have mentioned battery chargers, et cetera, and we give you the link to them in this Amazon store. This one would be under lifestyle items, and there it is.
Cool.
And yes, this is our Amazon store. So if you buy through here, we get a few cents.
millions of dollars.
But really, my main reason is just to give you an easy way to find what we were talking about.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's my tip of the week, is making a game out of your photos.
All right. We do invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com/2geeksontour. I don't know. Do you see any questions there? Do you have any answers?
Oh, I see somebody that shared our blog post, but no questions.
Okay, we'll go on. So on our beginner's lesson today, antivirus for mobile devices. What do you think, Chris?
I think this is not a fun topic, but we do get people ask us, do you use an antivirus? Should I use an antivirus? So we want to talk about it. And I have a couple of slides here for talking points.
All right.
First of all, what is a virus? So a virus is an app, a software, or a little tiny piece of software, piece of code that is loaded onto your device, number one, without your knowledge.
Usually.
Number two, runs against your wishes.
Almost always.
And number three, viruses replicate themselves. That's why they're called viruses. Like when you have a cold, you can pass it on to others.
Right.
So now in smartphones, this is a quote from an antivirus company. In the case of smartphones today, we have not seen malware that replicates itself like a PC virus can. And specifically on Android, this does not exist. So technically, there are no Android viruses. What do you think about that?
Well, now they pretty much put them all under one term for, malware. So
yeah, just because there is no such thing technically as a virus doesn't mean that there's not bad stuff that can get into your device.
So malware is the umbrella term now, but people still say viruses.
Yeah, so they still say, do I need antivirus software?
So look at these numbers. Only 1% of phones altogether have malware at all, but it's growing. 97% of mobile malware is on Android. But why is that?
That's because Android allows you to get apps from other than the official store. See, on Apple, you can only get apps by going to the Apple App Store. On Android, you should get apps by going to the Android Play Store, or maybe the Samsung or the Amazon. Those are official stores as well.
What I was reading is a lot of these numbers, or most of these numbers, aren't in the United States either. They're over in China, where, for instance, they don't have a regular Google App Store. They just don't.
Google Play Store.
Play Store, sorry.
Yeah, I have no idea why.
There is an App Store for the Apples over there, though.
Yeah, but in China, there's no Google Play Store. So people have to get apps from a third-party store, and that's where the viruses are coming from. Okay. So the number one question for you, Jim.
Okay.
Is it necessary to have an antivirus or security app on your phones and tablets?
I think not. I don't think it's that important to have it on there. Now, if you do suspect a problem, then you might want to load one of these antivirus or anti-malware apps onto your phone and let it run its scanner just to be sure. 99% of the time or more, it's not going to find anything wrong. It's going to want to install some other things along with it, though. So that's what I don't like about most of these antivirus programs or anti-malware programs that you get today. They really, they're adding other things on there just to fill in the empty spots, and they're not really necessary. But if you have a question, if you have an issue that you're having and you want to check it, go ahead and put one on there, run it, see if it comes up with anything. But then you might want to uninstall it afterwards. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, because if there's anything I've learned over years of having my smartphone, is that the more apps you put on there, the more sluggish it gets. Right. And an antivirus is another app. And in fact, it's one that's watching everything else. So I kind of like that idea.
Okay.
And you can be very safe. First of all, according to the statistics, only 1% of devices have malware on it. I mean, they really have learned a lot over the years and how to make it better. So it's not that big a deal. And then you can do things to prevent it yourself. So where does malware come from? The number one way that malware gets into your device is from an app.
Okay.
So if you install an app only from the official stores, that means that they've been vetted. Apple has looked at everything before they allow it to be downloaded on the App Store. And Google does the same thing on the Android store. Now, is that absolute?
No.
Does a bad app ever get through to one of the stores?
Yeah, and occasionally you hear about those, but by the time you hear about them, they've already been eliminated by the Play Store. So those things, yeah, they can happen, they get in, but they're almost immediately reported and cleaned up.
Yeah. So if you get your apps from the official store and you don't get them immediately,
Right.
you know, don't be the first one. Then you're pretty safe. Now, there are other ways. I mean, you can get malware from emails, but Gmail anyway, I get messages from Gmail all the time saying that they did not deliver an email because they saw
there was some
that
suspicion.
They saw that it had something on it. Websites, you can get malware by clicking on something in a website, but there are safe browsing settings right in Chrome. And if you keep up to date, your browser, your system, and your apps do to protect you. So if you live right, you will protect yourself. I see it kind of like vitamins.
Okay.
I mean, I have people telling me, take your vitamins, take your vitamins. I don't want to take my vitamins. And if I eat right and exercise and drink enough water, I'm okay without taking vitamins. Should I take vitamins?
Maybe.
Probably. But the more likely things that happen with your phone is it gets lost or stolen. Now, we covered that in episode 12. Both iPhone and Android have a way to find your phone, lock it, and erase it. Another thing is that you want to back it up in case you lose it. You have to get a new phone. And we covered that in episode 79. They do slow down over time. They lose battery power. They get full. We covered those things in episodes 51, 86, and 61. And you get unwanted calls. Now, the reason I list these is because since antivirus companies know that malware is not such a big problem,
they have to add other things in there to make it valuable.
So they have, your antivirus software has Find My Phone, lock and erase, clean up stuff. Stuff, yeah. All right. But now there are some nasties. I mean, there's something called Pegasus that's been in the news just the last couple weeks.
Right. Pegasus was something that, well, it's been around for a little while now, but it's the one that has really targeted high-profile organizations like that Ashley Madison one that happened a few months ago. What are some of the other ones there?
I don't know, but I know it was on iPhone.
Right. It was only on the Apples, but it's, it was possible that any Apple out there, the billions that are sold out there, that every one was at least vulnerable. Now it was fixed with an update.
An update to iOS.
So once you're updated, you're good to go.
And apparently Pegasus was done by really high-level bad guys.
Oh, yeah. There was not, what are these kids that, the code kitties or whatever they're called, but it wasn't that.
And they were only after high-value political targets. So you and I,
not so much.
Not so much. Well, keep up to date.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see, what else? One thing that would make me change my mind is if I was regularly letting the grandkids use my device.
Don't do that. No, don't. I mean, if you have grandkids and they want to have a device, don't let them use your very valuable iPhone or iPad. Now, you can set up different users on some of these devices, and I recommend doing that, but don't let them be on there with your account. Absolutely not. Get a small tablet for them. They don't care. They just have games. That's cool.
And on that tablet, you might want to make sure that you have one of these security programs installed.
You might want something.
Yeah. And you should probably install one of these devices, but we say you don't have to.
Right.
And the ones, if you do want to, there are hundreds of them, and let's look at a couple of samples. First of all, if you have a Samsung, there's a setting right in there for protection. And if you have a phone from Verizon, Verizon has a protection app that you can turn on. Lookout is the one that you've used, right, Jim?
I have. It's one that I think just came out with mobile devices. I don't.
Yeah, I had never
any,
heard of it with PCs.
Not with computers, anyway. And so I checked it out, and it sounded like a good idea. And I've always been a proponent of being safe and secure on these things. So I loaded it, and I had it on there. It never found anything wrong, and I'd probably do some browsing to places that normal people might not go to, because I'm trying new stuff out all the time, and I'll uninstall it after I'm done, or if I don't like it, but if it's something I like, I'll use it, and we'll report on it here. But I took it off, and I haven't had any issues. There are other ones out there, so that's the one that I started out with, but I haven't used it. Now there's 360 security. I've heard good things about that one, but again, is it necessary? I don't think so. Clean Master is one that's Android only.
Right.
And that is, it does a lot more, and it does mostly cleaning stuff, getting rid of data caching, that kind of stuff that you can do manually, but it puts it all together in one place. Avast has been around for a long time, so that's another one that you might trust or know about. All of these have free versions. Most of them have a pay-for type or ad-based. So, and then another one?
Nope, I'm going to do demo now.
Okay.
And so what I will do is what you suggest. I'll just install one, run the scan, and then uninstall it. On the iPhone, I'm going to pick Lookout, and on the Android, I'm going to do Avast.
Okay, which one are you going to start with?
So we'll do the iPhone first.
Okay.
And where do we go to get apps?
At the App Store.
You go to the App Store. So that's that blue one right there. And first, I'm just going to search for antivirus, just to show you how many come up. Antivirus.
I don't think you're...
No, I have a typo in there.
Yeah.
Hard to see with all those cracks on the screen.
Yeah, how did those get there?
I'll fix that one of these days.
Yeah, sure you will. There we go.
There we go. So antivirus. And there's all the usual suspects, McAfee and Trend Micro. And all of these might just be fine, but look at them all. It just goes on and on and on. And what did I say I was going to do on this one? I was going to do Lookout.
Okay, on the Apple, because that works on Apple and Android both.
Right. Yes, it does. Now, but one thing, whenever you install any app, you want to read more about it. So I'm just going to tap on Lookout, and then you scroll down. One of the things to be really concerned about is the last date updated. So notice this was updated on September 12, 2016. That makes you feel good. And then you look at the number of stars, of course, but not just the number of stars, but how many reviews went into that. Only 18 reviews went into that 4-star rating. That's kind of surprising. And so now let's just take a look and see what it does. I'm going to open it. And, oops. Open. Oh, it's not going to go landscape.
All right.
Okay.
Nice try.
Yeah. So here is what Lookout does. It shows you missing device means it does a Find My iPhone kind of thing.
You already have that.
Yeah. Now, security, it says I have a warning. Let's see what it says. System advisor, your iPhone's operating system is out of date. Yep, it just happened a couple days ago, and I was getting warnings from T-Mobile not to update yet. So there's a reason why I didn't do that. But so that's something that an antivirus checks for you. Is your operating system up to date? And this says no malicious apps detected. And backup, I don't do backup because everything is synchronized to the cloud, and we've covered that in another. It says Lookout can't access your contacts. Well, I don't want Lookout to access my contacts, but if you did, it would make a backup. So if you're not sure that you have things backed up and protected, this is something you can do. But I just installed it to run the scan and see if it found any bad apps. And it didn't, so I'm going to uninstall it. And how do you do that? There it is right there, Lookout. Touch and hold until everything starts wiggling. Tap the X and delete. And on an iPhone, that is how you uninstall an app. All right, now I want to show Android. And get to home. And first I want to show you on Android, if it is a Samsung, there is a setting. If I go to Settings and Accessibility, it's right there. And down at the bottom, Support and Protection. Notice I have mine off, but what's it say? Protects your mobile device from threats posed by malicious websites. In the next screen, Support and Protection will ask permission to observe the apps your device is using. So if I turn that on, it's going to watch all my actions and watch my web browsing and prevent me from interacting with bad apps. You know, that's got to take some overhead. So
I think so. Yeah.
I'm not going to do it, but I just wanted to show you that it exists. Now, if you are on Verizon, you automatically get an app called VZ Protect, and it does similar stuff. Oh, and I turned this on yesterday to see how it worked, and threat scan is on, 45 file scan, but it didn't see any issues. So I might want to turn that off now. And
Now this is something that was built in?
With Verizon, yes. It's one of those preloaded.
Okay.
Preloaded Verizon
Now,
apps.
I didn't get anything like that on my Nexus Google phone. So I have to look at other possibilities.
All right, so the one I'm going to do on the Android is Avast.
Okay.
And where do I go? I go to the Play Store. And I will show you Antivirus, what comes up here. And there's Clean Master. Now, I didn't know that Clean Master was an antivirus, but yes, that's one of the options in Clean Masters. The other is to clean up cached. Clean up your cache, but you can do that manually too. There's Norton, Kaspersky, AVG,
all
the normal suspects. Yeah. But I'm going to go to Avast and just show you how it works and install. And that doesn't take very long. And let's read about it while it's doing that. So when I tap to read more, here's all the information about what it does. And at the bottom, it'll show us when it was last updated, August 18, not bad. And it's had 100 million plus downloads.
Wow. Bring it down just a tad.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. So there was the 100 million plus downloads. So you're not the first one. And open. And what I'm going to do is just ask it to scan. It's not going to go horizontal either. Continue. And scan this device. Allow Avast to access photos media. Well, if I want it to scan everything, then yeah, I have to allow it access.
And there it goes.
Now it says it found one issue. We'll see what that is when it's done. So this is not a bad thing to do once in a while.
Okay.
It's taking, I have a lot of apps.
Had a lot of data on
which
that
is
front.
a problem in itself.
Yeah, let it go.
Okay. While that's going, anything else to discuss?
Well, let's see. There were a couple of things here. If I can get back to it. In the chat there, just, oops. Okay.
Yeah, I think most of the people realize that since this YouTube Live has divorced from Google Plus, we don't have as easy a way to see comments.
Yeah, we need to figure that out. Okay, somebody, Richard uses Clean Master on the tablet, but not on the phone. Lowell says she uses Lookout. It's a premium app. Richard says the worst place to get anything is from third parties. That's true. And Richard also says, I don't see any support and protection on his Android, and that's really only on your Samsung. So if you have a different provider, that would probably be the issue there. Let me get rid of that thing there.
Okay, it's done.
It is?
Yep.
All right, let's see if I can bring it up there. There we go.
And I'm now getting a message that Chrome support is disabled. You are not protected against malicious websites. So if I enable that, then it's going to be watching my web browsing, but I don't want to do that right now. And now it says there's, oh, that was the issue. That was the issue that it found.
Yeah.
Was the fact that I didn't have that turned on.
Okay.
Okay, now the other things that it will do is boost my operations by stop the 34 running tasks. And this looks like it's doing some really good stuff, and your phone speeds up for a little bit. But then 6 hours later, it says you have the same
Issue.
yeah, and it's
That's annoying.
yeah. So so now how do I've scanned my device. I know I don't have any real problems. How do I uninstall Avast now? There it is right there. On my phone, I can long press and uninstall appears right at the top. If
You can't
yours,
see that. Yeah.
okay, long press and uninstall. And if I drop it right there, it will uninstall. Not all phones work that way. So if you go into your settings and application and application manager, that's where you absolutely will be able to uninstall. So in the application manager, I'll find Avast, tap on it, And then there's uninstall right there.
Okay.
So that's my beginning lesson.
All right.
Take your vitamins.
Take your vitamins, whether you want them or not.
or do as I say, not as I do.
Okay, that too. Well, we are old dogs learning new tricks. Geeksontour.com. Like us on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/geeksontour. All right. Where else do we need to go? All right. App of the week. It's Gas Buddy. Gas Buddy is something that we have used, and we've. What episode was it that we talked about it? Do you remember?
I don't
should
know.
have written that down.
But it's definitely a favorite when we travel.
When we travel, we use Gas Buddy. Now, this is not a new app. It's been around for a long time. This is just about some updates that just happened, and the new interface, the new icon on the screen. One of the things that a lot of people don't like about this particular update, and we're a couple of them, is the photos are gone. In a big rig like our motorhome, towing a car, we like to see pictures of those gas stations or fueling stations so that we know that we can get in and out without too many problems. And this one is just one that we don't like. But we just want to let you know it's still our app of the week for this week. It's Gas Buddy. It's available on the App Store for the Apple, iPhones, and tablets, iPads. And it's for Android, and we use ours on mostly Samsung, but I use it. Chris is my navigator.
I'm the one that's using it. Yeah.
She's the one that's really using it. We'll be getting down under half a tank, and I'll say, check Gas Buddy, see, where it has a new map too that's kind of nice. Yeah,
let me show it.
Okay. Let me see if I can get that up there for you.
First of all, it's a whole new icon. I don't remember what it was like before, but it's completely different. And to me, it looks like it's a Miami Dolphins because it's using the orange and turquoise colors. So Gas Buddy.
Yeah.
And enable location. I wonder if it was one of the security software that disabled my location, because I usually have it on.
Right. And that causes some problems, because if your location settings gets turned off for whatever reason, it may affect your camera, your geotagging, things like that. So just notice it. But we want to know where gas is going to be cheaper. If we're traveling south from New Jersey, as we were earlier, we filled up in New Jersey, but we needed gas somewhere down the road. So we wanted to check and see if it was less expensive in Virginia or North Carolina or South Carolina.
But is it gas that we want?
No, we want diesel.
So this price, now so they've just moved things around. In order to say I want diesel prices rather than gas, you tap on this little settings button in the upper right and see. So it is showing me diesel prices, not regular. And it is hiding stations that don't have diesel. Now, this is what Gas Buddy has added, is lots more filtering. So you can say, only show me Shell stations, or only show me stations that have propane. So that propane thing was nice, I thought.
Yeah, until we ran into one that said it had propane, and it didn't.
And it didn't, yeah.
So we drove around in circles for a little bit.
So the other thing is going to the map. I usually am not interested in a list. I need to see stations around where we are. And then if I say I want to go to this one, it used to be I could tap on the station and see a photo of it. And that's what is no longer there. And I'm not happy about that.
No, we're not happy about that.
But it still showed us the best price. We had a great savings up in South Carolina by going to a Kroger, it was.
I think so.
And that's because Gas Buddy taught us.
All right. I like it. So that's our app of the week, Gas Buddy. And well, did you learn something? I know I did. So we have some questions for you. The risk of you contracting malware on your Android or iPhone is A, low, B, medium, or C, high?
Quite low.
Quite low.
But it is increasing, so...
Yeah. You want to be careful, and you want to be aware of where you're getting your apps, and you want to make sure that you're up to date with all of your stuff.
You just gave them the answer to 2 more questions.
The single most important thing to do for protecting yourself is to download apps from where?
From the official stores, either the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store or the Samsung Store or the Amazon Store. They're official.
Okay. True or false, 97% of mobile malware is on Android devices.
That is true, but realize that's 97% of 1%. And where are they mostly?
Mostly not in this country, overseas, in places where the App Store or the Play Store, more likely, is not available, and they have to get things from third party. Yeah. Okay. Apps called antivirus apps also have features like what, and what?
Like Find My Phone, like Backup, like Cleanup and Boost.
And battery, yeah.
And battery. There's a whole package. They are not just anti-malware.
Okay, good. And if you just want to check your phone for viruses, what can you do?
Install a security app, run a scan, and then uninstall it.
Yeah, that'll work. The second most important way to protect yourself is what?
By keeping up to date. That's so if you do those 2 things, only get your app from official stores and keep your system and your apps up to date, your risk is so small that I don't think you need to take your vitamins.
All right, Chris, what's the webpage that lists all of our weekly shows?
Geeksontour.com, and the menu item is Weekly Show.
And the webpage that lists all of our recent newsletters.
Geeksontour.com, and the menu is Blogs and Articles. Newsletters is under there.
Okay. And the benefits you get by joining Geeks on Tour.
The complete learning library of our prepared tutorial videos, being able to ask us questions on our members, Ask the Geeks forum, the show notes for these shows, and now a new one is the preview of our Google Photos book. I'm in process of writing a Google Photos book, but I do have a printable copy ready, and it's available to all members. Just go to the last newsletter, and there's an article about that.
Well, that's great. Well, we do invite you to become a member at geeksontour.com. Just click on the link that says Join Now. Next time, well, we're going to be in California next week, so we're going to be probably in the air at 2 o'clock. We're flying to Google headquarters. They're flying Chris to Google is flying Chris to Google headquarters. I'm going along just to carry her bags, but we won't have a live show.
And that's because I'm a top contributor on the Google Photos forum.
Right.
And this is a top contributors conference.
Not just Google Photos, but it's all...
No, all top contributors. So I'm going to be meeting people from the Android, from the search, from the Chromebook. Lots of people in the top contributors that support Chromebook. And Google Photos, of course.
Okay. Well, our next topic is to be determined. We will... watch for that. We want you to watch for the notification for that show and let us know that you're watching, and leave any questions there in the comments, and we'll try to get to it. So that's it for this week of What Does This Button Do? I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And we'll see you next time.
Keep pressing those buttons. Ask, what does this button do?
What does this
How about this one?
Bye-bye.